What's up, buds? I'm holding in my hands the LCD Steam Deck. Can you believe it is now over 3 years old? We've seen it launch, dominate the handheld market, and then evolve with Valve's stunning OLED revision. But here's a question everyone's been asking right now. Is the original Steam Deck LCD still worth buying? The OLED is brighter, smoother, and more efficient, but it also costs more. So today, I'm going to break it all down. Performance, display, battery life, software, alternatives, and the price. By the end, you know exactly whether the LCD is still worth your money. Let's rewind for a second. Back in early 2022, February to be exact, Valve released the first Steam Deck. It came with a 7-inch 1280 by 800 LCD screen, a 60Hz refresh rate, and a custom AMD APU. It wasn't the prettiest screen in the world, but it got the job done. And what really mattered was the concept. A portable PC running SteamOS that could play your Steam library on the go. Fast forward to the late 2023, Valve introduced the OLED model, a gorgeous 7.4-inch HDR capable OLED panel with 90Hz refresh, Wi-Fi 6E, more efficient components, and better battery life. It became the premium deck. So, in the end of 2025, with OLED's now mainstream handheld competition heating up, more and more handhelds being released regularly, and PC games becoming more demanding, does the humble LCD still hold its ground? Let's start with the positives, because there are still plenty of reasons why the LCD model makes sense. Price and value. The biggest factor, price. The LCD deck is the budget entry into Valve's ecosystem. You can often find them new at discount, or even better, refurbished, or second-hand for hundreds less than the OLED. That means you're still getting the exact same console feel, the same controls, the same SteamOS experience, at a much lower cost. For someone just dipping into the handheld gaming market, the price difference could be game-changing. Software and ecosystem maturity. Since launch, Valve has massively improved SteamOS and Proton. Thousands of games now run better than they did in 2022. Indie titles, classics, even a lot of modern AAA games are now playable. And don't forget, the LCD isn't just hardware, it's your ticket into Valve's handheld ecosystem. Features like suspend and resume, community controller layouts, quick suspend, and dock support all work the same. In fact, LCD owners benefit from all the updates the OLED got, except the new screen and the internal hardware tweaks. Real-world performance. In practice, the LCD deck still handles a wide library. Sure, you might be running newer games at medium or low settings, and maybe using some FSR upscaling, but on a 7-inch 800p screen, it still looks fine. And for indie games, retro emulation, or older PC titles, the LCD is more than enough. Let's be honest, not everyone is playing Cyberpunk or Alan Wake 2 on a handheld. For Hades, Stardew Valley, Hollow Knight, or thousands of Steam Deck classics, the LCD gives you exactly the same experience as the OLED. Okay, without the screen colour popping. Function over flash. The screen might not pop like OLED, but for many users, it's still serviceable. Indoors, in average lighting, you won't notice the limitations as much. And because the LCD sticks to 60Hz, it actually keeps expectations in line. You're not constantly chasing for 90 FPS targets. Weaknesses of the LCD in 2025 and beyond. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The LCD model does have some drawbacks. The display limitations. The most obvious weakness is the screen. Compared to OLED, colours look flat, blacks more like dark grey, and brightness is weaker outdoors. Side by side, the difference is dramatic. OLED gives you HDR, richer colours, and smoother motion with 90Hz refresh. Once you've seen that, it's really hard to go back. Battery and efficiency. The OLED deck isn't just prettier, it's more efficient, The updated battery and panel improvement means longer sessions, especially when you're playing lighter titles. The LCD already struggles in some heavier games, and that gap feels even bigger further and further we get away from launch. Performance headroom. Another challenge is game demand. As engines evolve, newer games are hitting limits of the deck's hardware faster. Remember, the LCD older thermals, battery setup and slower RAM means you feel the strain even more. Future-proofing is not the LCD's strong suit. Competition. And finally, competition in 2025. The market is crowded. Asus ROG Xbox Ally X just being released, but also the Asus ROG Ally X Original, Lenovo Legion Go, the Go 2, Ayaneo, and others all push stronger specs, sharper displays, and in some cases, better ergonomics. If the LCD is only slightly cheaper, it can feel outclassed. So, where does this leave us? Who is the LCD still for, and who should skip it? Well, it's still worth it if you're on a tight budget and want the cheapest way into the handheld PC gaming, you mostly play indie games, emulators, or less demanding titles, you plan to dock it often and play on an external monitor, you're buying used or refurbished at a huge discount, you don't care about HDR, deep blacks or high refresh rates, you just want function over form. It's better to skip or upgrade if you care about the display qualities and want your games looking the best, you plan to play the latest AAA games where every bit of performance and battery matters, you'll be gaming outside or in bright rooms, you can afford the OLED or a competitor without stretching your budget, you want the purchase to last as long as possible. The decision often comes down to price difference. If you save £200 or more going LCD, it's still a smart buy. But if the price gap is small, go OLED every time or another competitor. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, the Steam Deck LCD in 2025 is still a solid handheld. It's not flashy, it's not cutting edge, but it delivers the same core SteamOS experience for less money. For casual players, for budget gamers, and for those who don't mind a slightly dimmer screen, it's still worth picking up, especially on sale or second hand. But if you're serious about handheld PC gaming and you want the best value has to offer, the OLED model is worth the extra spend. It feels like a next-gen upgrade. So, what do you think? Is the LCD deck still a smart purchase 3 years on, or has the OLED completely replaced it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know if you're gaming on an LCD, OLED, or maybe one of the competitors. If this breakdown helped you, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell for more handheld gaming deep dives. I'll be covering not just the deck, but also new competitors and handheld gaming tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next one.